Where did Drogon take Daenerys' body after her death? The hidden truth behind the Dragon Queen's final journey. The Iron Throne melted into molten ruin. Jon Snow stood there, tears in his eyes, knowing he had just destroyed the woman he loved to save the realm. The sound of molten metal crackling filled the silent throne room, and then came the roar. A cry that shattered the ashes of war and tore through the ruins of King's Landing. Drogon had arrived. The last dragon of House Targaryen, the child of fire and fury, screamed in agony as he saw his mother lifeless on the cold stone floor. And in that moment, something extraordinary happened, something that left fans wondering ever since the final episode of Game of Thrones. Where did Drogon take Daenerys Targaryen's body after her death? It's one of the greatest mysteries in all of Westeros. The show gave us no answer, just one heartbreaking image. Drogon scooping up Daenerys' lifeless body and flying east, vanishing into the unknown skies beyond the shattered city. But where did he go? Why did he take her? And most importantly, could Daenerys still live on in some form? Today, we're diving deep into the emotional, mythical, and symbolic layers behind Drogon's final act, an ending that may not be as final as it seems. Let's start with what we know. After Jon Snow kills Daenerys inside the Red Keep, Drogon lands beside her body. His roar isn't just pain, it's recognition. He feels the loss of his mother, his queen, the one he was born to protect. But instead of burning Jon Snow alive, something most of us expected, Drogon burns the Iron Throne. He doesn't strike the man who took her life. He destroys the thing that caused her death, power itself. That's the moment we realize Drogon isn't just an animal. He's intelligent, emotional, and capable of understanding deeper meaning. He knew the throne had corrupted Daenerys. He knew it was the symbol of her downfall. So when he spreads his wings, picks up Daenerys' lifeless body, and flies away, it's not random. It's deliberate. It's purpose-driven. Drogon isn't fleeing. He's taking her somewhere. Somewhere important. Now, in the final episode, Samwell Tarly and Bran Stark mention something critical during the small council meeting. When Bran asks about Drogon's whereabouts, Sam says, he was last spotted flying east, toward Volantis. East, toward Volantis. That line isn't just filler, it's the key. Because Volantis isn't just another free city. It's deeply tied to Daenerys' destiny. Let's unpack that. Volantis is home to the Red Temple, the largest temple of R'hllor, the Lord of Light. Remember Melisandre, the Red Woman who resurrected Jon Snow? She was a priestess of R'hllor. And she wasn't the only one who believed in prophecy, rebirth, and chosen ones. The followers of the Lord of Light see Daenerys as a possible savior figure, Azor Ahai, the warrior of fire who would bring balance to the world. So, what if Drogon took Daenerys to Volantis, not to bury her, but to deliver her to the priests who worship fire, rebirth, and resurrection? Think about it. Drogon is not a mindless creature. Dragons are magic incarnate, tied to the same ancient forces that brought fire and life back into the world. When Drogon carried her east, it could have been an instinctive act, guided by some magical connection between Dragonkind and the powers that once forged the world. It's entirely possible that Drogon felt her soul still lingering, that she wasn't truly gone. And the Red Priests of Volantis. They've brought people back before. Thoros of Myr brought Beric Dondarrion back 6 times. Melisandre brought Jon Snow back from death after believing he had a purpose yet to fulfill. Daenerys, too, had unfinished business. She was the breaker of chains, the mother of dragons, the liberator of the oppressed. Her mission was never complete. So imagine Drogon, guided by a deep, mystical instinct, flying thousands of miles to Volantis, to the heart of fire magic itself, to lay his mother before the priests of R'hllor. Maybe he roared at their temple gates. Maybe his massive shadow darkened the sky above the city. And maybe, the Red Priests saw it as a divine sign, that the Mother of Dragons had returned to them, needing their help to rise again. Could that mean Daenerys is alive? Maybe not in the way we expect, but in some way, yes. Because Game of Thrones has always been about cycles, fire and ice, life and death, prophecy and rebirth. Daenerys' story didn't just end in tragedy. It left a door open for legend. Let's consider the deeper symbolism. Drogon's name is derived from Daenerys' husband, Khal Drogo. He was her first love, her first loss. And just like Drogo once died in her arms, she now dies in Drogon's arms. The symmetry is beautiful, poetic, and tragic. But there's more. Drogon represents fire. Jon Snow, her killer, represents ice. The union and destruction between them mirror the song of ice and fire itself. And when Drogon carries her east, the fire doesn't die. It flies away. That's the meaning. The fire will rise again somewhere else. Now, if we follow Drogon's path east from King's Landing, there are three main destinations he could have reached: Dragonstone, Valyria, or Volantis. Dragonstone is Daenerys' birthplace, the ancestral seat of House Targaryen. But it's too close to Westeros, and Drogon was seen flying much farther. Valyria, on the other hand, is the ancient homeland of dragons. The smoking ruins of a civilization destroyed by fire and magic. But no dragon has been known to survive there. It's said to be haunted by demons, cursed by the doom. Yet Drogon might not fear it. He's the last true dragon. What if he took her body to the ashes of old Valyria, to lay her among the bones of her ancestors? A return to where dragons began. That would make Drogon's flight not just an escape, but a funeral. A return home. But Volantis still feels like the most logical and emotional answer. Here's why. The Red Priests of Volantis openly worship Daenerys during her rise to power. In Season 6, Tyrion and Varys walk through the city and witness it firsthand, a Red Priestess preaching that Daenerys Stormborn is the one chosen by the Lord of Light to free the world from darkness. The people believed she was divine. The priests believed she was destiny. So when Drogon brings her body back to them, it's not just symbolic. It's prophecy coming full circle. There's also an interesting behind-the-scenes detail that supports this. George R.R. Martin's books, A Song of Ice and Fire, describe dragons as having an almost supernatural intelligence, guided by the same magical currents that govern fate and fire. Martin has said himself that dragons are fire made flesh. They don't just act, they feel destiny. So Drogon could very well have followed a pull stronger than grief, a connection to something ancient. And perhaps that's why Bran the Broken, now king, was interested in Drogon's location. Remember Bran's line at the end, "Perhaps I can find him." That wasn't just curiosity. Bran is the three-eyed raven, the living memory of the world, capable of seeing through time and space. If anyone could reach Drogon, it's him. What if Bran did find Drogon later? What if he discovered what became of Daenerys' body? Maybe he saw her being laid to rest beneath the Red Temple. Or maybe he saw something more, a flicker of life returning to her pale skin. Imagine the scene, in the glow of torchlight, surrounded by chanting priests, Daenerys Targaryen awakens once more, not as the same queen who burned King's Landing, but as something reborn, wiser, calmer, changed. Her eyes open, and the fire returns. It's a haunting image, one that would perfectly fit the mythic tone of the series. Even Emilia Clarke, who played Daenerys, once hinted in interviews that Drogon's flight wasn't meant to be random. She described it as Drogon taking her home. Home, but what does that mean? To Daenerys, home was never a single place. It wasn't King's Landing, it wasn't Meereen, and it wasn't even Dragonstone. Home, to her, was where she belonged, where she was meant to be. And in a world shaped by fire and prophecy, maybe her true home wasn't among mortals at all. Maybe Drogon took her beyond life, into the realm of myth. Some fans even believe